I started out in the music business. Music is like a drug you can't shake. So I'm still in the music business. It still sucks me back in all the time. But I was managing bands and artists, and my business partner, who's my mentor, is 30 years older than me. He came to me at one point and said, "Nick, I see what you're doing in music and working with bands, and there's nobody packaging people in business the way you do for bands and artists and musicians. So if you would just do that, you'd create a new kind of sector in the marketplace. You'd make more money, you'd be happier, and it would be less like babysitting 57 children, because every kid in a band is like having your own child." Yeah, I think one of the times where I realized the difference between spending and investing, which sounds kind of cliche, but we were working on this group program we had where we could take 20 people at a time. It was a kind of a 12-month program that involved 6 days, 2 days in New York, 2 days in LA, 2 days in Orlando, and we had like 5 people in the third group we were starting, and we needed, we could take up to 20. We needed at least 10 or 15, and we had 2 guys come in and pay to be in the group, 2 of the 5, and they just said, "Hey, we'll pay for everything up front." And my business partner Jack said, "Hey Nick, well, what are we going to do? We've only got 5 people. We need at least 10 people." And I said, "Well, I don't really know what to do. We've got like 45 days before we start." He said, "Well, here's what I think we should do. I think we should invest the money that the guys who paid us up front gave us, and we should invest that money in trying to get more people to come." And I said, "Well, what if happens if, everything that my mind went to scarcity and went to spending instead of investing." And I said, "What happens if we spend it all, we don't get anyone?" And he said, "Well, I think we're both smart enough. If we spend it a little bit here and a little bit there, we're not just going to blow it all in one place and lose it all. We're going to invest it in the places that we start seeing a return, and we start seeing people coming in." From making that decision, within the next 45 days, we got, I think, another 10 people. And so it was a decision of learning how to invest in yourself versus the mindset we all have when someone asks you about marketing. I ask people all the time, "Hey, would you give me $100,000 a month to market your company?" Like, "No, there's no way I could afford that." And then I just flip the question and say, "Hey, if I could guarantee you $250,000 a month in return for $100,000, could you find $100,000 to market on your business?" And they all go, "Of course, I'd be an idiot not to do that." And so it was understanding that difference between spending and investing, and it was just a kind of a pivotal moment where it all clicked for me. There's nothing you can do better than investing in whatever it is you're doing, whether that's in yourself, in your family, in your kids, in your employees, in your career, in your hobbies. Invest. And the whole concept of investing is putting in something and hoping to get more back out of it, as opposed to just buying something or spending money. Hey, I like good food, I like nice cars, I like all that stuff. But the concept of investing is just one of the most important things you can do. And it doesn't have to be, I know a lot of people get turned off by the term investing because it sounds boring. It sounds like I should give you $1,000 and get 5% or 7% return a year. It doesn't have to be that. And when you invest in yourself, when you invest in the right things, the return can be exponential, lots of fun, and actually some of the most exciting things that you can experience. I try to make scary commitments that make me return more than I put in. So, for instance, when I first joined Genius Network and Strategic Coach, I wasn't looking for 7 more places to go a year. I wasn't looking to drop big checks all at once. I joined the innovation board of a big nonprofit, and the commitment was $750,000 in a 5-year commitment. And most everyone else on the board is like billionaires. They just wrote a check, and I asked the guy, I said, "Hey, can I pay you $12,500 a month for 60 months? It comes out to $750. He said, "No problem." And so I knew if I was investing that much money, I was going to invest my thought process, my time, and I was going to make sure that I took advantage of the relationships and the knowledge I was going to get out of that group. So I constantly try to find things that scare the hell out of me, and then I invest in those, and that usually returns the most. And a lot of it has to do with the content, the networking, everything else. But I think maybe the most important thing is the fact that I show myself, at least subconsciously, that I'm willing to take risks on myself. And I think it's a big lesson that has taught me a lot, and I think you could probably learn a lot from it too.